What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I got to have that Teej pack. Teej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Teej Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teej Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Teej Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Teej Hanley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Teej pack. Feel a Teej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in on MLK Day, January 16th, 2023. I feel like I haven't live streamed with you guys in a while. What's going on, family? What's going on, friends? Let me check into the chat and see what's popping. I see my girl Randy is in the chat. Dalen is in the chat. Hassan, my dog Kojak, Big Suggs, Oro Monroe. I'm sorry, I'm bad with the names. What up, friends and family? We back again. Back to our regular live stream. I had to take a week in order to make sure that I got everything together. Had to get the office together. Had to get some good flights together. Had a lot of interviews that I've dropped or that I'm dropping that I had to take care of. As a matter of fact, I am dropping the exclusive Just Pearly Things interview, in which, you know, I interview a little bit differently, right? So I'm dropping a Just Pearly Things interview today in the Patreon, uncensored, and we cook up. We really do cook up. I'm going to just tell y'all, it's some gems in there for y'all to be able to tap in and truly understand how it is that you need to move from a social media perspective as far as content creation, monetizing things, how it is that you can grow your channel, that whole thing, right? Looking at things from a business perspective, we had a very interesting conversation. We had conversations about stepping into a specific space. We had a conversation about dealing with haters and controversy. And we also had the real story and conversation about what went on behind the scenes as far as Brittany Renner, Just Pearly Things, Andrew Tate, and Anton Daniels. I will give you a little bit of a hint, right? I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint. So, I don't even know how much I should say. I was part of the architecture behind what went on between Andrew Tate, Just Pearly Things, Brittany Renner. I was one of the people that made connections glue. We were supposed to go to Dubai, wound up being in London, and some very, very interesting things happened behind the scenes that I think that you guys are going to want to know, and that Anton and Just Pearly Things have a discussion about what went wrong, what went right, and there was some controversy that going on behind the scenes. So y'all definitely going to want to tap into the Patreon for that. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'm not having no conversations on here about it. that goes to my bag chasers. So the people that want to get the information and make sure that they level up, the people that do the work, the people that also get all of the access to the uncensored interviews and things like that. You guys will have the complete uncensored story behind what happened straight from the horse's mouth, as far as how everything played out with that and how it came together, and why. Well, let's just leave it at that, right? So make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, shout out to Tej Hanley. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Uncomplicated skincare for men. Make sure y'all tap into that Tej Hanley. The link is in the description. Also, Alpha Juice Company. So a lot of people know that I have been working out vigorously. I have been transforming my body. I've been getting a lot healthier. Blood pressure, top notch. Blood sugar, A1. Everything has been great. I've lost over 20 pounds as a result of going on this journey starting in December of last year. Part of the reason why that's been happening is because I've changed the way that I live my life based off of what I put into my body. I only utilize water and the Alpha Juice Company as far as the liquids that I put into my body. And then I'm very, very careful about how it is that I go about living my life going after that. So make sure y'all tap into the Alpha Juice Company. They have cleanses going on. Specifically, let me just break down some of the things. We got the regular discount code, which is just Anton, A-N-T-O-N. Put that inside of their website when you order your Alpha Juice Company. We got Anton 10, 10, Anton 10, not 10, 10, Anton 10. If you want to get at least $10 off your cleanse, that's $100 or more. If you want to get it for at least $25 off for $225 or more, it's Anton 25, Anton 25. Make sure you put that in your discount code so that you can get everything off that you need to get off, right? But again, make sure y'all tap into the Alpha Juice Company and put in the discount code either Anton 10, or Anton 25 to make sure that you can go on this journey with me, because we're not trying to be dusty in the summer. We not even live streaming with our shirts on this year, all right? It's summertime. We're not live streaming with our shirts on. All right, we might put our shirts on, but we have the option to take it off, and that's what's happening. So thank you for continuing to hold me down. Thank you to Tej Hanley. Thank you to the Alpha Juice Company. And then also thank you to my bag chasers for leveling up and then doing the thing that's in your best interest by making sure that you align yourself with a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in. So now that we got the housekeeping out of the way, I want to get into the show today. First and foremost, let me get to the super chats, because you know I always want to acknowledge the people that hold me down. I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. So first and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Brock. Brock said, pass a love offering to start it off properly. Shout out to Brock for the 5-ball. I appreciate you. Thank you, my friend, for holding me down. Oh, my God. Look at my players. Look at my players. Look at my bag chasers showing up. Look at my bag chasers showing up. This is the first live stream that I've done since over a week ago, over a week and a half ago. And now we back into our routine. And then Persevere Data TV shows up and he throw a 100-ball and he said, thanks for the game you dropped in our coaching call last week. Priceless. If you guys have not booked a coaching session with me, you are severely missing out. Make sure you email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. That's antondaniels413@gmail.com to make sure that you can get a Zoom call or a personal call with me. And it's first come, first serve. So as my schedule gets booked up, you lose options to be able to select the date and the time in which you can have a conversation with me, because my time is limited. Persevere Data TV, he telling you. Listen, I done made people millionaires. I done made people, annual income, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year, something that's sustainable. Not just a one-time thing, not a finesse, not none of that. Giving you real life game on how it is that you need to move in your business, how you need to move in your relationships, and how you need to move when it comes to life. I got another thing too. Let's just say this right here. Because me and Rita was having a conversation, right? Before we get into the show, Rita and I were having a conversation, and she said, Anton, I know you don't want me to be on the internet. I love living in my bubble, but I feel like I need to be able to add value into the ladies' lives and have conversations with them on how it is that they need to get into a relationship, how they can move when it comes to men, and how they need to operate as far as being able to really live this blissful life as a wife. And I said, I don't know, Rita. I'm not really interested in you having a conversation. She said, why don't you create a tier just for the women, limited spots just for the women, for me to be able to have conversations on a bi-weekly basis or a monthly basis so that they can tap in, and then I can give them the game on how it is that they need to move a little bit more effectively, because I'm not trying to really be a part of the internet and social media, but I do want to give the ladies an opportunity to kick it with me. So I said, all right, I'll pose the question over to the ladies, see if they're interested in it or not, and then you guys let me know. So if you're part of the Bag Chasers, you're in a Patreon, you do have to be a part of the $15 tier in order to even be able to sign up. But I'm strongly considering, not yet convinced, strongly considering opening up a tier for you to have access to my wife, so that she can give you the game and she can coach up your wife, fellas, coach up your wife on how it is that you need to move, so that you can have the same thing that I have, and then have that blissful situation where you really, really operating in your purpose without having to worry about having a nagging bee on your back. And then you can come home to something that is enjoyable. She is waiting for you. It's enjoyable. Everything is blissful. So let me know. I may create a special tier just for the ladies for that. Let me know if y'all interested. Send me an email, and then I'll play it by ear from there. Again, it's going to be limited if I even consider it in the first place, but I'm strongly considering it because ladies have been hitting me up, and I'm like, yo, I don't have time to focus on the ladies. I'm focused on the fellas. But let me know if y'all interested in that, and then we'll have a conversation, all right? So I'll consider that. We're going to go from there. Now, let's get into the show, ladies and gentlemen, because we got a lot to cover today. First and foremost, I want to say happy MLK Day. I know a lot of y'all are taking advantage of the idea that you can get off of work today just because you want to go MLK Day. You don't know anything about him. You don't know what he stood for. You don't really understand his history. You don't understand the black people that came before him, and then those that came after him, and how he affected the civil rights movement, how he affects how it is that we see things today, and going on and so forth. So let me just say this, and I do again. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for Persevere Data TV. I got Christopher Payne. Christopher Payne says, been watching you on Lapsed for a while, and I admire your communication skills and how you're able to articulate your points without pausing. Any advice on being a better communicator? Well, I think that the biggest way for you to be able to communicate effectively, or how to grow as a communicator, is that you need to record yourself and then watch yourself on camera. Flat out. The more that you watch yourself on camera, the more that you can see the mistakes that you're making, because a lot of times we don't hear ourselves, but when we talk and we say, and, or let me tell you something else that I hear people say all the time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro, because you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Or they say the N word repeatedly over and over again, or they say an F word or S-bomb or something like that. And most people don't even understand how they sound because they can't hear themselves. All they do is talk. So I would suggest the first step that you would do is maybe do a video diary on a daily basis. Just do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Communicate with the camera. Get your thoughts off. Rewatch it. And then you're going to be able to point out all of the flaws that you have on a regular basis. And as you continue to do that and you hear yourself, you'll start to naturally make changes and adjustments so that you can communicate more effectively. I'm telling you, when you hear yourself speak, I used to have my editors chop up my videos because I wasn't able to communicate my thoughts effectively. I said a lot of and uhs, and I didn't like the way I sounded. And sometimes it would take me like 4 or 5 hours just to record a video. And again, this is not something that I'm just naturally good at. This is something that I've practiced over a period of time that's allowed me to be able to communicate in the boardroom effectively, communicate on social media effectively when I'm having conversations with people. I don't overtalk when I'm talking to people. I'm able to listen effectively and let people communicate. And I have a strategic leg up on people when I'm talking to them, when I'm debating with them, because I'm able to pay attention to their body language, the nuance. I can tell when they're over talking. I can tell when they get angry. I'm listening and communicating more effectively, and it will help your relationship if you start to take the steps that you need in order to be more successful when it comes to communicating. So this is another instance, and that's just one tip that I'll have for you. But this is another instance where you guys need to get coaching calls. Email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com, because when I'm giving you life advice, it doesn't matter what it is that you thought that you came in for. You're going to leave with something different than you thought that you came in for based off of the information that I give you. Email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com, and I'm going to make sure that y'all get taken care of. Shout out to my dog, Aaron. Aaron says, peace and blessings, big bro. Peace and blessings to you also, my friend. I'll be reading super chats throughout the show. But let me get on MLK really quickly, okay? Just give me a quick second. So happy MLK Day. A lot of y'all is getting it off. Banking holidays, government holidays, so on and so forth, right? But let me tell you why it's important for me to acknowledge MLK on this day, right? The reason why I want to acknowledge MLK on this day is because I don't really think that it even matters from 2023 and going forward. Hear me out. I know it sounds a little bit more controversial, but I genuinely don't believe that it matters in 2023 and going forward. And let me tell you why. At the time that Martin Luther King was in existence, during the same time that Malcolm X was in existence, it was meaningful. There's people that debate, disagree, agree, and then feel differently about his impact when it came to black people. Some people think that it was necessary in order for us to bridge the gap between white people, black people, and all people in between, in order to forward the civil rights movement, because black people wanted the option to do what they wanted to do, which is when you have, integration in schools, being able to go to each other's restaurants, and so on and so forth, right? And then there's people that disagree and they say, well, Martin Luther King led black people into a burning house because we never should have associated ourselves with white people in the first place. I believe that Martin Luther King did a great thing because he gave you the option to do whatever it is that you wanted to do by aligning with other people strategically in order to bring light to an issue that what black people was facing at that time, right? And you can't sit here and blame your misfaults and the judgments that you make that lead to self-inflicted wounds on the decision of somebody that gave you the option to do whatever it is that you want to do. You have the option to go whatever school you want to go to. Nobody should have to make you do the thing that's in your own best interest. Nobody. But here's why it does not matter going forward, because it was meaningful at the time that he was in existence, but it doesn't matter going forward what it is that he really stood for outside of acknowledging how he's impacted us from a historical perspective. Because let's be clear, Martin Luther King was absolutely despised and hated by black people during the time that he was in existence. Forget what it is that you acknowledge now. Even today, people will try to kill his legacy. They'll try to say that he was a cheater, and they'll try to take away from the things that he did and impacted and the movement that he created on behalf of the people in general. And it wasn't just black people, it was just people in general, right? Because we want to be better versions of ourselves all the way across the board. But forget all of that. Let's remove all of that. Let's get to the nitty gritty. And again, I'm going to read the super chats as we go along. Here's the biggest thing. Now, because what you see is adjustments happening in society on a regular basis based off of the new information that you get. So let's just say hypothetically that you had slavery back in the day, right? And slavery impacted people and black people in XYZ ways. And then we abolished slavery for whatever reason, or whether you want to debate it or not, that doesn't matter. And then you have a situation where you still see people oppressed, or you see people couldn't go into certain restaurants, and then we did away with that. Now we have integration and so on and so forth, right? The adjustments are continuously made by people in power to ensure that power remains with people in power. And the way that they're doing it today is by getting you to focus on slavery, you to focus on racism, you to focus on gay rights, you to argue and squabble over who can stand on this corner and sell crack so that they can make sure that they poison a community on their own behalf, and then they can go back and give turkeys and then face a life sentence. And then your kids start to become a part of the system, and then you continuously pass on that generational curse to the generations that come after you. They want you to focus on feminism. They want you to focus on the things that don't really matter. Let's be clear. Let's be absolutely positively clear. The issues that we face today are largely self-inflicted. The issues that we face today are largely self-inflicted. You have a decision of whether or not you want to bust down that chick. You have a decision to make on whether or not you want to focus on racism. You have a decision to make on whether or not you want to go to school or you want to stand on the corner, so on and so forth. But the way that people in power continuously control people that are in the middle class, the poor, and those that really we just want them to remain in a slave culture. Because let's be clear, we need these people not necessarily to have kids, but to make sure that they have kids so that they can remain in a slave culture. We need people to make our rivets for our cars. We need people to make sure that they on the manufacturing floor to make our trucks. We need people to put together our iPhones and mine the minerals, the earth minerals and the rare earth minerals that go into our devices. We need people to make our computers. We need people to serve us our Starbucks. We need people to get us our burgers. We need a slave culture. So when I say, hey guys, the smart ones are focused on not necessarily just having a bunch of kids and living this middle class lifestyle. The smart ones are being more intentional when they're making decisions as to what's going to affect them 30 and 40 years from now, and then the generations that happen after them. And then you get mad at me because I won't let you be mediocre, when I actually am giving you the blueprint on how to be successful, because I don't want you to be a part of a slave culture. I say this not trying to remove the slave culture, because I know that there's always going to be a subset of people, the overwhelming majority, that still embrace being average. In reality, they're poor because there is no middle class, and people that are at the top understand that, so that they give you all of this stuff to squabble and fight over, as far as racism, feminism, men against women, colorism, all of this other type of crap, homosexuality, all of this stuff. Because we know that the more that you stay distracted with the things that don't mean anything, the more we can absorb all of the resources and money. Yeah. The more that you stay distracted on the stuff that don't mean anything, the easier it is for us to focus on the things that add the most value. See, this is not about money. It's a concentration of power. Money is a representation of that power. The bills that we spend every day aren't even worth the paper that it's printed on. But as long as we can control how you think, we'll be able to control how it is that you allocate your resources, because you so focus all of your energy on the things that don't matter. Let's be clear. You fighting over land that neither one of y'all own, and somebody else is still paying the taxes for. You're fighting with women not to improve their lives, but to hold them accountable, overwhelming majority of them that you'll never meet a day in your life. You have no impact. You have no power. You have no ability to be able to determine who's going to go to jail, who's going to stay alive, who's going to be able to have a kid, and so on and so forth. You will sit here and argue about abortion rights when the decisions have already been made as far as who it is going to be on the Supreme Court and what laws are going to be passed. You have no power whatsoever at all. You don't even know how to attain power. You don't know how to attain money. You don't know how to attain power. You don't know how to control your own household, but you will sit here and squabble. Come on, we talking about Martin Luther King, y'all. Real talk. You will sit here and argue over whether or not Martin Luther King had a side chick, instead of understanding the circumstances and the dilemma that he now afforded you to really be able to capitalize off of, and your kids is going to be suffering as a result of your decisions. I know y'all miss me live streaming, but we going to cook today. We got a lot to go over. It's MLK Day. I've cleared my schedule to make sure that I add as much value to you as possible. It is a class war. This is a power grab. This is not about how I feel. This is not about racism. This is not about feminism. This is about controlling the narrative. Listen, I had a conversation with the former mayor of Detroit, and he said, you know, Anton, people don't really even understand what's going on. I said, what's going on, Mayor? He said, do you know why Obama championed the gay rights movement and same-sex marriage? I said, what did he do? Why did he do that? He said, it's not that he necessarily cares about it. I said, well, why would he champion it, former mayor? He said, because he understood in order to keep the concentration of power within the Democratic Party and to still keep them relevant, he had to have another voter base, another demographic that they can tap into. Because the same thing that they did with black people is the same thing that they're doing with homosexual and gay rights. I said, tell me more. He said, listen, black people are the only group of people that is definitely, without a doubt, always going to overwhelmingly vote for the Democratic Party without playing both sides. He said, it don't really matter what side of the aisle you stand on. He said, what matters is that whoever it is that's seeking your vote, other communities make sure that they play both sides because it forces them to come to the people and then give them things. They have to show themselves. They have to make sure that they spend dollars in this particular community. In order to get a vote, they have to get something out of it. And that's why they play both sides. That's why President Trump was donating to both the Democratic and the Republican Party way before he really got into politics. It's a game. It's a grab of power. You think it's about liberals and conservatives and Republican and Democrat and libertarian and all of this other type of stuff. It's not. It's not. And so what Obama did was he championed a group of people that he knew was always going to tie themselves to liberalism in order to ensure that they always had a vote. And you're not seeing the game. You think it's about what you look like. You think it's about how tall you are. You think it's about whether you're a man or a woman. And you don't even understand that it's the blue eye, brown eye experiment being played out right in front of your face right after you watch the video. So when I tell you that the legacy of Martin Luther King means nothing going forward in 2023, is because you didn't do the same thing that they didn't do in the Bible. You didn't look at the past and the Old Testament to understand why you were making different decisions in the New Testament in the first place. You're not looking at the past to understand and see how you can move forward in the future. You're just looking at the past and arguing about it. It don't mean nothing to you. And you know how I know it don't mean nothing to you? Not because you're not passionate about what you talk about. It's because your actions are irrelevant. And at the end of the day, when we get done holding women accountable, you're going to go over there and you're going to bust another chick down and you're going to make her for the streets. Now, at the end of the day, when we talking about poisoning in the black community, you're going to go and get that pack and sell poison in your community so that you can continue to fill up the prisons so we can make sure that the for-profit prison industrial complex can continue to be great. You're going to make sure that you do every single thing that's not in your best interest, that goes against all of the things that the ancestors that came before us actually stood for, so that you can have the right to do what you're supposed to do. And when you had the option to choose for yourself, you still chose wrong. You don't even know how to vet a woman effectively, and you're going to tell us how it is that we supposed to move as a black community. What I need you to do right now, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to go to the back to the drawing board and get your own life together. Get the beam out of your own eye before you can start to hold somebody else accountable. I don't want to hear advice from nobody that ain't got it all the way together before they start to give somebody else advice on how it is that they're supposed to move in their household. I don't want to hear nothing about the black community until you stop selling crack to your brother. I don't want to hear nothing about making money until you first start to get your life together and ensure that you become a millionaire first, and then come back and give us the game and kick open the door and give some opportunities to somebody else. I don't want to hear nobody giving me advice on how it is that I'm supposed to move in my relationship until you can first get your own motherfucking house together, get your kids right, get your chick on the same page as you, and then we can start having a conversation. But I'm tired of all of these motherfuckers wanting to participate in the conversation and they never did shit for nobody, including they self. What the fuck are we talking about? Real talk. Do something. Do something. Show up. Do something. The best way that you can help me is by helping your motherfucking self first. Because you can't do nothing for me until you stop being a liability to every single other person that actually have your best interests at heart. Come on, man. That's what Martin Luther King mean to me. That's what Martin Luther King mean to me. He don't mean shit to you. He mean a lot to me. Regardless of whether I agree with everything that he did while he was alive, he stood on something. And the overwhelming majority of us don't stand for nothing. except for making sure that we can get a day off on his birthday in January. Let's move on, man. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Tap into the Alpha Juice Company so we can make sure that we get our lives healthy. Make sure you tap into that Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. And then follow me on all of my social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. And if you need to get in touch with me personally, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com, and we're going to get you scheduled for a Zoom call or a personal call. All right, so let me get back to the show. And again, I'll be reading super chats throughout the show. Thank you for everybody that support me, everybody that hold me down. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to the Silver Lion. The Silver Lion says, anyone that's serious about YouTube and better communication should take speech and debate at their local city, college to better themselves. I agree with that. Invest in yourself. It'll be the best investment that you ever had. Shout out to Michael Reeves with the 10 ball. I appreciate you for holding me down, big dog. My dog Aaron said, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings to you, my friend. And then Noble Xavier Rossum says, pass the collection plate. Shout out to everybody that hit me up on Cash App, Super Chats. I love you. I appreciate you. Let's continue, y'all. So we got this young brother right here, right? And his name is Darius Miles. Oh, we gonna take our time and we gonna slow cook today because I know y'all ain't heard me live streaming a little bit, and you thought that you was safe because we haven't live streamed, and it's kind of like your parents ain't looking in your bedroom, and so you're just going to let the clothes continue to pile up. But we're going to go ahead and get all of the clothes removed. We're going to vacuum the floor, and we're going to make sure it's spick and span in here. We got a young man by the name of Darius Miles. Let's go ahead and jump into what it is that he got going on, ladies and gentlemen.
Hours after head coach Kirby Smart and the University of Georgia football team celebrated a back-to-back national championship,
we're saddened to hear that death and grief has visited the University of Georgia football team.
UGA player Devin Willock was killed in a single-vehicle crash early Sunday morning. Hours before his death, Willock let a 7-year-old named Camden Gonzalez wear his championship ring while at an Athens restaurant.
It's just heartbreaking coming off of a celebratory week. The entire Bulldog Nation is at a loss, and I can't imagine what his family's going through.
I'm reading super chats throughout the show.
Chandler LaCroix, who was driving the vehicle, also died in the crash, according to police. 2 other passengers in the car were hospitalized. One stayed over at the University of Alabama. Basketball player Darius Miles is one of 2 people arrested Sunday and charged with murder in connection with a shooting near campus that left a 23-year-old dead, according to Tuscaloosa law enforcement.
This young man had his whole life ahead of him. This young man had his whole life ahead of him. Basketball star. Supposed to be at the top of the food chain. University of Alabama basketball team player, scholarship, whole life ahead of him, going down the drain. He's charged with capital murder. Strong possibility he gonna spend the rest of his natural life in jail. The rest of his natural life in jail.
Authorities say Miles and the other man charged is Michael Lynn Davis.
Now look at his friends. Show me your friends. I'll show you your inner circle on what your life is like. You don't even have to say nothing to me. Show me your friends. I'll show you what your future is going to be and what your life is going to be like. Do you think that even for a moment, come on, y'all, because y'all keep trying to go back to the hood. Y'all got all of this opportunity. Your parents made the sacrifices for you and all of this type of stuff. And you can't leave the hood behind. You can't leave that chick behind. You can't leave the hood behind. You can't do the thing that's in your best interest. Come on, y'all. Do you think that any millionaire, any billionaire, any businessman, any man of integrity, any man that's rocking with the Alpha Juice Company is going to be hanging out with this young fella right here? A man that smiles in a mugshot in which they're being charged with capital murder. Do you think that even for 1 second, that I would be caught hanging around or this man would even be invited to my studio?
At this time, it appears that the only motive to this was a minor altercation that these individuals had with the victim as they were out on the strip.
The only thing that happened was a minor altercation. Somebody was talking, somebody mouthed off, somebody might have stepped on somebody's shoe, nah, homie, whatever, so on and so forth. And now look at what it is that we got to deal with. Now we're facing a situation in which a budding basketball star, University of Alabama guy, is being charged with capital murder. Capital murder. This is MLK's legacy right here. This is what he gave you the option to do when you now are walking around with a pistol. You shouldn't even have had a pistol in the first place. You are a University of Alabama basketball player that is on a ride, on a scholarship. You're supposed to be studying, staying on campus, not getting yourself in any kind of situation, and removing yourself from all of the riffraff that you grew up around. But you can't stay out the hood for 5 seconds in order to ensure that your future is bright, and your kids, your unborn kids, want to thank you for never being born and being able to add value into this world because you chose to make sure that a minor altercation led to you being charged with capital murder.
The university issued a statement saying Miles is no longer a member of the basketball team.
Let's really break this down, y'all. I want to really mine this out because we need to make examples of a lot of this stuff in order to ensure that this never happens again to the people that we're actually impacting and having a conversation with. Before we do so, let me make sure I acknowledge the super chats. Got my dog Aaron. Aaron says, I just heard a whole sermon. Everybody needs to constantly evaluate our personal impact, be strategic. People need better. People be better. Believe that you can have an impact. Thank you, Aaron, for supporting the platform. And then my dog, Clay, with the 50 ball says, Happy New Year. Anton, it's been a minute. Back from deployment. Talk to you soon. Talk to you soon, Clay. Welcome home. Welcome to being back into the fold. I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the platform with the 50 ball. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody that hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, because I know that you already did. Thank you, everybody, for supporting me and holding me down. Let's continue with the show, ladies and gentlemen. So, this is the moment that it captured opening fire. But before we get into capturing the open fire, and again, I'm reading super chats all throughout the show, ladies and gentlemen. It says, surveillance video caught the moment University of Alabama basketball player Darius Miles allegedly opened fire at a car, killing a 23-year-old passenger and sending bystanders running for their lives. We've become so desensitized to how it is that we're supposed to be moving in our environment that this don't even faze us. This is supposed to be a chilling statement. This is supposed to be a chilling statement that somebody can open fire. A 23-year-old kid can open fire at a car and kill a 23-year-old passenger. I'm sorry, he's not even 23. He's not even 23. I'm going to show it in a minute. The footage captured two cars driving down the street before the sound of at least 10 shots being fired rang out. Police said after interviewing multiple witnesses and reviewing surveillance footage, they identified college hoopster Miles, Darius Miles, and Michael Lynn Davis, 20, as suspects in the shooting. Now, Michael Lynn Davis is not even on the basketball team. Darius is only 21. He just became old enough to be able to drink. And this dude is opening fire with at least 10 shots into a car and just completely ruining his entire adulthood. Let's continue. Miles and Davis were arrested in a shooting in an area near Tuscaloosa campus known as the Strip. Two suspects were charged with capital murder. Jamia Jonay Harris of Birmingham, 23, was struck by one of the rounds and died. One of the suspects was reportedly injured when someone in her car also opened fire. It's not clear which of the two men was shot. This is the young woman that I guess died. Wow. Look at that pretty little girl. A 23-year-old pretty girl got killed because you was just letting off and ringing shots. She'll never, ever be able to spend another Christmas, never, ever be able to do another Thanksgiving, will never be able to celebrate Martin Luther King Day because you wanted to let the shots fly into a car after an altercation. At the time, it appears the only motive was a minor altercation that these individuals had with the victim as they were out on a strip. He said Miles and Harris did not have a previous relationship. Neither Harris nor Davis is affiliated with the university. The 21-year-old suspect appeared to be crying during a perp walk caught. Oh, now you want to cry during a perp walk. Look at this dude. Jesus. He addressed someone standing outside the Tuscaloosa County Jail and said, I love you more than you can imagine. Miles' bio has been deleted, already removed. You don't even exist in society anymore. From the Alabama University Athletic Department's website, first and foremost, we extend our deepest sympathies to the family and the friends of the victims. From last night's incidents, we were made aware of the recent charge against student athlete Darius Miles, and he is no longer a member of the Alabama men's basketball team. All of them people watching you. Now we're going to watch your trial. The university also released a statement saying its utmost priority is the safety. Yeah, we already know all of that. Let me look at this video really quickly. Then we're going to get straight into the men's thing. It's 37 seconds. Look, they just started running. That's when the shots apparently is ringing out. Dang. Well, I could tell you this. Nobody is going to remember your name after next year outside of the victims. Nobody is going to remember his name next year outside of the victims. Real talk. And it's unfortunate. So, look at this face. You'll remember it today, and then you'll forget about it tomorrow. This is the face of a young man that had the whole world at his feet and decided to throw it away by aligning himself with a group of people in a mentality that then drove him to be charged with capital murder and was crying during his perp walk. You can cry during the perp walk, but you cannot cry for the victim that you wind up killing as a result of it. So shout out to Darius Miles for fumbling the bag. We appreciate you for making a Millionaire Morning Show. Bag Chasers Unite. My dog, Jay Hunter Lee, says, Brother AD, has been a minute. I hope all is well. As Dr. Kenneth Kimbrough says, if you're hanging with 9 broke people, eventually you'll be number 10. Probably already are number 10. Shout out to Jay Hunter Lee with the 10 ball. I appreciate you for holding me down. And then also, shout out to the Big Podcast. Says, the BIG Podcast says, it's like our decision-making gets worse and worse and worse. It's never gotten better. Always some foolery that leads to deletion. And usually the person that gets deleted is the person that's the most innocent. So it's like a drunk driving. Thank you to Big Podcast for holding me down and for all of the super chats. I appreciate you. Let's dive into this whole being a man conversation. That's why we're here, right? That's what the thumbnail says. I just wanted to make sure that I acknowledge the MLK King in the building. Coretta holding him down. I wanted to make sure I acknowledge MLK, and I wanted to also make sure that I brought to light the Pookie that threw his life away, and that so many men and so many women in society wish that they had the opportunities that he had, and he threw his life away. But I want to get into this conversation, right? And it was a Vice debate that talked about men, what it's like to be a man, right? I have not watched it. I've seen the early preview of the clip. I'm going to break it down. It is allegedly pretty lengthy, but I plan on at least speeding it up and playing it 1.5 times, maybe even 2 times faster so that I can get all of the talking points and we can break it down. But that is a grown man right there. That is a grown man right there. So I want to go ahead and get into it. I want to deep dive into this conversation, and then we're going to go from there. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and then turn on your notifications. Tap into the Alpha Juice Company. All of the discount codes is in the description. Also, T. Chanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. That link is in the description. And then make sure you tap into the Bag Chasers. Link to the Patreon is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I am dropping an exclusive interview with Just Pearly Things, and we're going to mine out some really, really good information that y'all going to want to know and be a part of, especially if you want to look at things from a business perspective, if you want to understand how to grow your channel from a content creation perspective. And then last but not least, what happened between me, her, Brittany Renner, and Andrew Tate that led to what you wound up seeing as a legendary podcast that has over 3 to 4 million views as of the recording of this video right now. Let's get into this debate, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm so tired of like paying $150 for a first
You know
date.
what? You know what? I'm going to play it straight from YouTube. Give me a second. Give me a second. All right, let's see if we can get this right on our screen. It says Vice invited male identifying and binary folks from across the country to discuss their ideas of masculinity. Now, masculinity, before we get started, is not an idea. Masculinity is something that you're just born with based off of what gender you are, in my personal opinion. Again, I have not seen this yet, but I am definitely looking forward to breaking this down. Somebody told me that they removed it from Aaron's live stream. Whatever, man. We just gonna cook up. We don't care. Shout out to DJ says, keep doing what you're doing, brother, listening in the UK. Shout out to my United Kingdom brethren out there. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I can't wait to get over to the UK this year. I'm still going through the process of making sure my daughter get her passport, so we made sure that we get that popping. But I am going to be all over the freaking country this year. I'm going to Paris. I'm going to the United Kingdom. I'm going to Tokyo. I'll be in Dubai. I'll be in probably Johannesburg. We going worldwide this year. So also, give a shout out to the 20 ball from Deus Ex Machina. Deus Ex Machina says, Anton, much thanks for inspiring me to grind harder in the past year. I got a higher paying job, wiped out my debt, bolstered my emergency fund, got a new car, and now I'm looking at rental properties and hard money lending. Let me play that one more time for the bag chasers. For those of y'all that's not in the bag chasers. Got a higher paying job in the past year of rocking with Anton from AntonDaniels.com. Wiped out the debt, bolstered the emergency fund, got a new car, now looking at rental properties. What we doing over here is real. This is not just entertainment. You may be entertained, but we put the medicine and the candy over here. What we doing over here with the bag chasers is real. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Can we get a congratulations from my dog, Dos? Let's go ahead and cook up on this Vice panel, y'all.
My name's Krishna. Thank you all for being here and talking through masculinity, what it means to be a man, etc. Obviously, we couldn't fit every man in the country into this room. We tried to get a diverse perspective, but of course, that caveat, we're not everyone. I wanted to start by telling you why this is something that I'm interested in. I have an 8-year-old son, and I'm seeing him absorb what manliness might mean. I'm thinking to myself, what does it mean to be a man? To start, maybe we could just introduce each other to each other, and if you were to describe what it means to be a man or to be masculine.
My name is Tahoe. I'm a black man from the hood. When I was young, being a man, you had to be tough.
Why do we always identify as a black man from the hood? I don't really understand what that means. I'm a black man from the hood. That's not a badge of honor to me. That is trying to get away from the trauma. You know what I'm saying? That's not a badge of honor to me, but let's continue.
You had to be hard. And now, to me, being a man is a lot different. Now, to me, being a man is knowing when to be soft. Knowing that you don't always have to run the charge. You can actually listen. You know what I mean? So things have changed a lot over the course of the years for me.
I'm Griffin, and I don't identify as a man. I'm non-binary. I still have elements of, my identity that are masculine.
He doesn't identify as a man, and he's non-binary. Now, I want to be forthcoming right here because if you watch the Anton Daniels channel over, Saturday when we live streamed, I had a very, very unique, diverse panel of men and women that came into the studio and we cooked up, right? And we had a woman that actually broke down all of the different terms for us as to why things are the way that it is and how it is that we need to identify people going forward. She said, Anton, homosexuality, the term or the words homosexuality is now derogatory. It's called gay or queer. She broke down the whole non-binary thing, the whole pronoun thing. Now, again, it doesn't necessarily mean that I agree with it, but I was curious as to what the mindset was of the people that are identifying as these things and how it is that they are substantiating what they are, right? So when I hear terms like this, now I'm more informed, which was one of the reasons why I wanted to have her on the panel to discuss different things, especially with regard to relationships. But this whole non-binary thing, let's continue. Oh, whoa. All right, Anton, you starting to get back used to the controls. Let's continue.
Masculine elements that are feminine elements that don't fall within that range. And I personally just don't feel tied to the the norms of the confines of
Read
gender
super
at all.
chats throughout the show.
My
Thank
name is
you.
Dylan. I think that the notion of masculinity is just something that can be possessed by man or woman. Man, woman, non-gender conforming person. What it means to be masculine is just like, changing and like very.
Sir, I'm gonna need you to cut them cornrows. Looking like Kawhi Leonard's overweight uncle. Black man specifically, men in general, but black men specifically. I need y'all to stop showing up to these panels not looking your best self. I need you to iron your clothes. Make sure you get your hair. At least if you're gonna have the cornrows, get them redone. You can't just show up looking like a POS, y'all. Come on, man. Come on, bro. This is gonna live on forever. This is going to live on forever. You showing up, your glasses is like this. His glasses is literally like this. Got the cornrows unrolled. Jesus Christ, y'all. And then y'all gonna, and I'm gonna be honest with you. These are the same type of men that look like this. I don't even know what he gonna say yet. But men that look like this, they be on the Lapeef chat talking about Anton don't know nothing about what he talking about. I'm not listening. No dude that's been married for 19 years. Okay, so you don't want to listen to the man that's single. You don't want to listen to a man that's divorced, and you don't want to listen to a man that's been married for a long time. Okay, so who are you taking advice from, sir? This is what they be looking like when they be trying to hold me accountable about what it is that I'm capable of when it comes to marriages and relationships. They be looking just like this. You click on their avatar, you go to their Instagram, they be looking like a POS. I don't like to get distracted, but I'm going to read the super chat.
Very fluid. But I think that, masculinity is something that just, like you embody based off just like how you show up in this world as a man and just like, how you go about being your day-to-day.
How you show up. Interesting.
Yes.
What's up, guys? My name is Paul. I'm a fitness entrepreneur. I'm an immigrant. I came here when I was 4 years old with my family. It's kind of funny how we're talking about it. My take on masculinity is not about talking as much as doing. I think at its core, a man has to be efficient, competent, and be willing to do what it takes for themselves and their loved ones.
I was not always a good man. I was not always what you would call a healthy masculine man. And so
Shout
as
out
my life
to,
has changed, I've identified 5 points that I think make a true.
Hold on. Shout out to my dog, Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic, what was the bet? What was the bet, Mr. Fantastic? I'm not gonna go back and watch the stream. I'm gonna just take your word for it. What was the bet, Mr. Fantastic? Before we get into this stream, because I'm about to cook up on this stream. Well, I'm gonna wait for Mr. Fantastic. Tell me what the bet
Truly
is.
masculine man, masculine. Okay. I think point number 1 is a man who
5
walks with God.
bands.
Point number 2 is a man who stands on principle.
Mr.
Point number 3, which is
Fantastic, put your cash app in the chat. I'm gonna hit you off with 500. Put your cash app in the chat. I'm gonna hit you with 500 today, Mr. Fantastic. I got you. All right, let's continue. See, Anton is a man of his word. Anton is he hit me off with the $2 super chat, but I'm gonna hit him off with the 500. I got you, Mr. Fantastic.
masculine man is self-sacrificing. So someone who is willing to sacrifice for point 4 the people that he leads. A true man is a leader. And number 5, a masculine man is never a coward. That's a lot there. Yeah.
Never a coward.
Let's get into that
I
as
like
we go
that.
on.
I think what it means to be a man is responsibility. As a man, it can come with a lot of power. And with great power comes great responsibility. In short words.
What's up with all of the black men outside of the one that's on with the blue shirt on, looking all toe up? What's up with all of the black men? I got you, Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic, 824. Hold on. I'm gonna get you after the show, big dog. Hold on, let me make sure I get that. All right, bet. I got you, bro. Why all of the black men looking toe up? I'm just curious.
That's it.
That's from Spider-Man, I think.
Yeah, Uncle Ben.
James.
Well, my name is James Killen, former United States Marine turned Air Force officer. Got a couple combat tours, but I'm also a father of 3 girls who mellowed me out. The idea of masculinity is something that I find interesting because it is changing, and I can actually see those changes in myself. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this panel.
Thanks for your service. Andre.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, men. I think my idea of a real man.
I can tell right now, getting finessed by women. Simp that's getting finessed by women. I could see it all over his face. I know how to read a dude and a woman ASAP. Simp.
Is someone that gets the job done, and provides and all that. I don't even know what that means anymore, but I don't know. It's changing every day.
How do you think it's changing?
No, it just seems like everything's changing every day. It's like a new world order, you know. So I have a hard time keeping up with stuff. So I feel like tomorrow it's gonna be something else, and people are gonna comment and be like, "You're wrong. It's this now."
I mean, it's hard to talk about some of this stuff because you feel like you might say the wrong
You
thing.
care too
I'm not
much
really
about what
masculine
people
myself,
think in the
so
comments.
I feel like I'm like the wrong person to ask. You know?
Maybe the right person to ask. Christian.
What it means to be a man is to be a adult human male.
That's sort of
Yo, all of the
a very
black
formal
men.
definition, but I think that might be a good place to kick off because there's a lot of talk.
Hold on. Let me back up. Yep. Black men are failing us. Shout out to the black men. It's only one so far respectable black man on this panel. I'm reading super chats throughout the show. It's only one respectable black man on this show, and that was the very first dude that talked that said that he was from the hood. Maybe we all just need to like go back to the hood or something like that because this is trifling. We got the one dude that looked like Kawhi Leonard's uncle with the braids. We got another dude that got two pigtails that's coming out of his head. We got this man right here that's zesty with contacts on, and literally looks like he has on makeup and lip balm, lip stuff. We gone. Now, I will say this for the men that are masculine and killing it out here. Y'all, listen, you guys are going to, because all of the rest of these dudes then fell the fuck off. My bad. I said I'm going to stop cussing. You guys are going to have your pick of the litter. You are going to be worshipped by women because either they look dusty, broke, or zesty. Dusty, broke, or zesty, and have no masculinity whatsoever. So for the dudes that really level up, you will be worshipped. You will literally be worshipped. There is nothing that you cannot have. You are at the top of the food chain. I ain't even said you had to get a lot of money yet. All I said was you just got to be a man's man. You can have anything you want just by living in the purpose by which you were born and being a man's man. You have your pick of the litter. Jesus Christ.
And is to be a adult human male.
That's sort of a very formal definition, but I think that might be a good place to kick off because there's a lot of talk, of writing, of research these days that says there's a crisis in masculinity. Is there a crisis in masculinity? If so, like, what is that crisis?
The thing that I see is a lot of deconstructing generational trauma. The be a man, boys don't cry, this, that, and the other thing. And I think that's actually one of the reasons why we see it as a crisis, because we're actually trying to redefine what it means to be a man, and none of us have any idea because we're just out here trying to be whoever we are.
Shout out to my dog, Ugly Money TV is in the building. I love Ugly Money TV. Shout out to my dog, Ugly Money. Hey, Ugly Money been putting out some fire content. Yo, I watch your stuff, Ugly Money TV. You're doing your thing, big dog. We might have to connect, bro, because we stronger together than we are apart. Shout out to Ugly Money TV. I think Ugly Money TV recently passed 100,000. Y'all give a round of applause and a shout out to my dog, Ugly Money TV is in the building. I love you. Let me go ahead and knock out all the rest of these super chats. Shout out to Jay Hunter Lee. Jay Hunter Lee says that they purposely handpick the brothers to make us look bad. I don't know. I think that they try to get like a really good round table of people from different cultures and backgrounds to be able to have these conversations because they're going to be more entertaining like that. Shout out to Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime says if you switch the video around or you put a logo on it, Anton, that will help. Good morning and blessings. I'm not going to worry about it. You know me, I'm not working that hard on it. I still do not understand the non-binary argument, and that's coming from somebody who identifies as gay. Shout out to Dalen, my dog. Persevere Data TV says, shaking my head, they got us on their water with it. Yeah, let's get it, y'all. Let's continue. This is going to be a good show.
That's right. I think that historically, being a man was rooted in patriarchy and misogyny. And now we realize how harmful that has been over the years. And so we don't really know how to define where we're supposed to be. And I think.
Looks like we struck out, fellas. Before we even get started with the show, looks like we struck out. Even the dude that identified as for the hood is talking about how toxic masculinity is. We have literally struck out, y'all. The dude that's from the hood, the one dude that I thought could possibly hold us down, literally is advocating against masculinity and saying how toxic it is. Patriarchy, toxic. Masculinity, toxic. The one dude that I thought was going to hold it. That's why they need Anton from AntonDaniels.com on that bitch. Because I'm going to make the room shake. I'm going to make the room shake. You know, I'm going to do it the same way that I did it on Dr. Phil. I'm going to say, what? Man, don't nobody care nothing about your feelings, dog. You weak. Man, we need one man to just stand up for us in every single room, and hopefully that'll change the narrative of what men and masculinity is supposed to be. We need one man. You need one strong man in every single room, and I do not see one black man. I see one dude. Look at this dude. I see the dude on his left that's sitting like a woman. I mean, he's literally got his look. You see how the dude, the Asian guy that's sitting next to the black guy that's talking, you see how he's sitting? He's sitting, he got his arm down, he got his hand on his thigh, he got his legs open, he chilling, he just kicking it. And then you see the dude that's two seats over to the right. He looks like he's afraid for his blankie. I need my blankie. I need my blankie. I'm so scared. Oh no, they're going to come for me. I need my blankie. We need one. We just need one. We just need some strong men to stand up and say, yo, I stand on this. I'm not going nowhere. This is how we moving. All of the black men on this panel are weak. 3 of them are in the front. 1 of them is in the back with the cornrows sitting next to the person that don't even identify as a man.
I think the reason that they're saying it's a crisis is because the box has gotten so small for just being, say, straight, just being a hetero, right? Because if you do anything, women judge you.
What do you mean anything?
If I dance a certain way, or if I wear my hair a certain way, if I dress a certain way, they go, real men don't do that. Real men don't do that. And so you get scared to move a certain way.
When the dude in the back, that's the most zesty, when they pan to the camera and how disrespectful. Y'all not even paying attention to the symbolism that's going on right here. Are y'all paying attention to the symbolism? Let me point it out for you. You got 2 black guys in the front advocating against masculinity, looking bad on the panel, and then you got the other person that don't even identify as a man with an upside down cross hanging on pearls. Come on, man. You can't make this stuff up. You have 2 guys that's not living in their masculinity, 3 men that's not living in their masculinity, 1 that has an upside down cross. He has it upside down on purpose. It's not right side up, it's upside down. And it's hanging on a bunch of pearls with another symbol on another pearl necklace right above it with a dress on. When we review these videos, y'all, we don't just break it down from the perspective of a person that's looking at what they're saying. I look at the body language. I look at what people purposely came dressed like to wear. I look at how people are communicating. I look at who's agreeing and nodding on certain points in order to emphasize a certain way in which they're preaching to men to be a specific type of way. I pay attention to all of it. Everything. Y'all want me to be frank? You want me to be frank? It's all demonic. This is all the devil's work right here. They don't want me to say that. They don't want me to lean into my spirituality. They say, Anton, we don't want you to talk about Christianity. We only want you to teach us about getting money. Anton, we don't want you to talk about this. We only want you to talk about being married for this long. Well, Anton, we don't want to. It's all demonic. It's all demonic. This is the devil infiltrating, putting in certain symbols that then that helps you to be able to train yourself to identify with certain things a certain type of way, trying to make certain things look cool so that it looks normal to you, when in reality, these things would have never existed in yesteryear because we would have rooted it out immediately. It's all demonic. It is. It's all demonic. Every part of it. Every part of it. When I can walk around and get censored, shut down, and then possibly even get your job threatened for being a man's man, this isn't even a war of reality. This is a war of spirituality and principalities at this point. It's how far will you allow things to go so far left to where you can't even get back from where it is that you came from. Have y'all ever did something wrong? You ever went so far down the rabbit hole that you like, dang, it ain't even no point of return now. I might as well go all in. We have no conscience now. We have we have nothing keeping us from going all the way in no more. The reason why the scriptures say, it talks about training a child up and that it will never depart from them. It's not that the child will never do anything wrong, but it's that child has to have a conscience. That child has to overcome certain things in order to be able to go and do things that they're not supposed to do. See, when I was younger, because I was raised in a church, right? Let me preach for a little bit and we're going to get back to the show. When I was younger, because I was raised in a church, right? If I was to ever find myself in a situation where something was about to go down, I remember back in Detroit, we had what was called bustos, right? And a busto was a girl that let everybody hit it, right? And it don't have to be like he hit it that day and he hit it that day. No, it's he hit it and then he about to hit it and he about to hit it. But I was always raised in an environment where that wasn't cool. First of all, if anybody can have you, then I don't want you. Secondly, it's not right to put yourself in a position to take advantage of somebody when they're a certain type of way. So then when everybody would skip school and they was like, yeah, we about to go, I'm going to be real with y'all. Y'all want to be real? No, it wasn't called a bust down. It was called a busto. B-U-S-T-O, a busto. Back in Detroit, when I was in school, it was called a busto. So when everybody was skipping school and they was like, yeah, we about to have such and such, we about to take such and such to such and such crib, we about to run bustos on her. Running a busto on a chick was turning her out. It was everybody was going to hit it and bust it down. I never one day in my life, not only did I not do it, I wouldn't even go to the house. And they did the same thing that they did to me now. The same thing that's happening on the internet is the same thing that they did to me now. They say, Anton, you a square. Anton this, Anton that. All you do is care about your money. I've been hearing the same argument since I was 12, 13 years old. They say, yeah, we about to go run bustos. I said, all right. You know what I said? I'm going to be honest to God. Honest to God on my father's grave. I said, yeah, this is in high school. In high school. I said, yeah, nah, me and Rita, we about to go and chill for a minute and go kick it. Me and my homegirl, my best friend, we about to go chill and go kick it. In high school. In high school, listen. One of my best friends that lived down the street from me, you know why we stopped being best friends? Because he started hanging out with dudes that was doing stuff like that, getting involved in the streets and all of that, right? Get involved in the streets. And you know what I was like? I said, you know what? I'm about to go chill over here with Rita. We about to go chill and hang out. Me and Rita wasn't talking. We wasn't in a relationship. We wasn't even romantic or nothing like that. That was just my homegirl. But you know why I hung out with her? Because we both were aligned in our mentality and that we were focused on doing the things that was going to add the most value into our life, not knowing that each other was the thing that we was going to be adding into each other's life. I wasn't trying to get caught up in what y'all was getting caught up in. Anybody that's been to a show, you seen the Lapeef show, you seen any of that junk, right? Anybody that's came to the Lapeef show in Houston, you came to the show in Atlanta, no knock on nobody. They said, Anton, we about to go hang out. I've been trained to be focused on my bag and focused on not putting myself in a position to then have to fumble the bag. First thing smoking. Right after the show, me and Rita, we dip. We go back to the hotel. We go get in the shower. We go get some eat. We go have dinner together. Me, Rita, we go. We out. We on a first class flight to the next city or back to the crib to my daughter. Listen, if I can't, and I'm going to read your super chats in a minute. If I can't do something where my daughter can be a part of it, even if my daughter is not there, I don't want to be involved in it. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't get caught up where something something possibly can happen. Call me a square. I am a square to my core. I love being a square. I'm never going to be in a situation. You know what I was focused on? I said, Rita, I got to go back and get prepared so that Monday, as soon as I get into the meeting, I can make sure that all the developers together. Oh, shoot, we got to make sure that these videos is all scheduled to go out for the Lapeef Network. Oh, shoot, we got to make sure that everything is scheduled to go out for the Anton Daniels channel. I got to go do an interview the next day. You know what? We need to take that 6 a.m. flight. That means we got to get to bed early. We're going to go to bed at 8. We're going to wrestle in the bed and have some good times. We're going to fall asleep watching Netflix, and then we catching that first flight up out of here, and we're going to go get this money. And Rita be like, yep, I swear to God. Listen. Me and Rita texting back and forth this morning, right? We texting back and forth, and we talking about some business that we got to take care of. I said, Rita, I'm going to pivot from things that I've learned this year in the first 2 weeks. I said, not sure. It doesn't matter. After the day, I'm going to live my life and run my business more effectively and more efficiently. She said, yeah, everything that we've learned is a learning experience. This is in my text messages right here. I said, the whole month so far this year was a learning experience. She says, why you say that? I said, I'm just going to focus, be wiser, and make better decisions going forward. No self-inflicted issues. I got to make sure that we taking care of business. These are the same conversations that her and I have been having since 9th grade in high school. We don't miss. We don't make mistakes. We don't get divorced. We don't fumble bags. We don't mess up the people that's around us. We ensure that everybody is successful around us because being a man, regardless of what they about to say on this live stream, and we about to get back to this live stream, being a man is being a leader with your actions and then ensuring everybody around you is successful. It's taking ownership and responsibility and leading and doing the thing that other people are not doing in order to ensure that you get your bags, ensure that you're successful, ensure that you're the man that you want your daughter to marry. That is what masculinity is. Don't let them paint no picture that masculinity is toxic. Masculinity is beautiful. Masculinity is beautiful. Patriarchy is beautiful. I run my house like a dictator. I am a benevolent dictator. It is the most awesome situation that any woman would ever be under. Me, my wife, my daughter, laying on the couch last night, literally planning out their birthdays, talking about what it is that we gonna buy and how we gonna spend and all of the trips that we gonna go on. You know why I have the ability to do that? Because I live in my masculinity and I don't miss. And then I give them the layout. I said, listen, Leslie, Rita, this is what I need y'all to do. We're going to be on point this year. This is how we're going to take care of it. Leslie, your responsibility is A, B, C, D, and E. Rita, how is your schedule looking? She said, I need more responsibility. I said, okay, I'm going to add this to your plate. We run shit. We run this. Don't tell me that you got the blueprint on how it is that you can be successful in a marriage. I'm telling you that I have the blueprint. Tap into the Patreon. Make sure you send me an email, AntonDaniels413@gmail.com. We're going to get you popping. I'm going to read the super chats in a minute. Let me continue with the show.
You don't want to get judged or outed out of the accepted part of your community. And I think that kind of has us in an uproar and we don't know where to be. Like, where's the safe place to be for men now? You know what I mean? And it's kind of disturbing.
You know, I was what you would call a toxic masculine male growing up. And I had good men that sewed into me. You know, they gave me good advice, but I never found manhood and I never understood my place as a man until one day I humbled myself and I gave my life to the Lord Jesus Christ. And I'm telling you right now, walking with God changed my life forever. Can you define toxic masculinity? Like, I would say toxic masculinity is like what he was just saying, where you're using that leadership role or that aggressive nature in a harmful way to harm other people to get your way. So the biblical structure for manhood is very humble. It's self-sacrifice, not self-motivated, but it is motivated by principle and standing on what's right. So there is a clear-cut vision for manhood in the Bible that I live by, and I think our culture used to live by, and I think our culture has lost its way.
And he's wrong. And the reason that he's wrong is that all throughout the Bible, and the men that God favored the most were the ones that went out and they tore shit up. And they didn't tear shit up for the sake of tearing shit up. They tore shit up so that they can make sure that they can make the environment around them long-term was better. Sometimes you had to go to war. Sometimes you had to go to war. Sometimes Jesus had to run into the tabernacle and turn them tables over and said, who you talking to, fam? Sometimes the Pharisees and the Sadducees ran up on Jesus and he said, what up, though? See, they don't want to tell you about that part because they're trying to omit what masculinity truly was. If you really identify the most masculine and the most loved men in the Bible, they were truly masculine. Aaron, David, Solomon, Paul, Jesus. Even Peter was ready to go to war. He was ready to slice some ears off. No. Don't let them tell you that masculinity is weak and humble, because humility has nothing to do with being docile. Humility has everything to do with being able to understand and take into consideration what other people are saying if it's for the benefit of the community as a whole. Don't let them make you docile as a man. That's not masculinity.
I think everybody sort of has a different definition of toxic masculinity. I don't find masculinity toxic in and of itself, but I do believe in bad men, and bad men exist. But does that mean every man is toxically masculine? No.
When you're talking about a crisis on masculinity, I think that there's a lack of understanding there. So it's like masculinity being masculine isn't toxic. It's just like there are portions of it that you can dive into that make it toxic.
Because I think a lot of what we think of masculinity is tied into patriarchy, right? Which is to say, like, for the longest period of human history, like, men dominated women and got the lion's share of stuff.
I think a lot of times some people make masculinity into a caricature, like it has to be this alpha bro tough guy. Exactly. And I find the low-key guy who, is a really great father and a great husband and maybe not like drinking raw eggs every day to be a lot more masculine than the alpha bro who's going and like banging 20 women per weekend and not a responsible man. I find it more masculine to be a good guy.
I think the background of this is that we are saying that gender is this like real thing that has real ideas and implications. And Griffin, I'm wondering, as someone who identifies as non-binary, how does this conversation strike you?
Well, I think that it kind of becomes like irrelevant whether or not we attribute like having like a good ethical compass to being like masculine. Attributing that to like the gender constructs which we have made up, which are like somewhat pointless, like kind of just feed into needless roles that uphold the patriarchy without even knowing it. A lot of those things are just things that people should be doing because they're like morally right. Like if you're in a family, you should probably support your family. And I really don't think that it has to do with like your manhood.
These characteristics that we're talking about are baked into an old system of domestic life.
I think that's actually where we get toxic masculinity. Like none of us can really describe what it is, but we can see it when it happens.
So we learn it, right? This is something we learn from
What is toxic masculinity? There is no such thing as toxic masculinity. All of this entire panel, I haven't heard one person that made a point that I agree with yet. Not one person has made a point. This was worse. Listen, let me tell you something. The women's panel with just pearly things on it was much more productive and conducive to actually learning from than this sister code that I see happening right here on this panel. These are just a bunch of guys that are, I was about to say something egregious. These are a bunch of guys that are on sister code as far as trying to discover their sexuality amongst each other and be validated. I would not have any problem thinking that these people probably get pegged every single day, all of them. They probably got each other's numbers and is still hanging out with each other to this day. Let me read some of these super chats. This is embarrassing. Michael Richardson said, I don't like sloppy seconds. Facts. I want all firsts, no seconds. Mogul Naj says, built by plants. Shout out to Mogul Naj with the 10 ball. I appreciate you. Michael Richardson also says, put some bass in your voice. I always say facts. Michael Richardson also hit us with another 10 ball and said, Anton, men today, in my opinion, are too soft. Growing up in Detroit in the hood during the 80s and the 90s was rough. I refuse to be a product of my environment. If you have a masculine voice, you're a threat. Because they don't want us to be out here having these conversations, big dog. Also says, yep, I remember that bus though. Never participated, never. And you know what the funny part is today? I actually ran into a guy that I knew from back in the day, and he said, Anton, I'm so proud of you, bro. Like a dude that I went to school with. And he said, Anton, I'm so proud of you, bro, because the things that we was doing, you stood on yours. And now all of us is watching you from behind the scenes, and we got your back. And we saying, yeah, we really, really rocking with you. Shout out to my dogs. Shout out to everybody. I don't want to say your name, bro. Centennial G says, this is some South Park gay devil Sodom ish, bruh. Zest without soap ingredients. Ain't nothing clean about it. Persevere Data TV, my dog holding me down, said, if you ever found out your school crush was a West Side Busto. It's a lot of dudes that didn't know. They don't know to this day. Chef Cartez Jones says, you preach that truth, bro. You cooking a day. Thank you for the 20 ball and everybody holding me down. Also, my dog Clay said, if there was toxic masculinity, what is toxic femininity? You know what toxic femininity is? What you see on this panel right now. Toxic femininity is what you're seeing on this panel right now. Shout out to Aaron. Aaron said, the world is hypnotized. How can a panel of men not understand masculinity and manhood? This is ridiculous. Real talk, Aaron. Real says masculinity seems to be missing from a panel discussing masculinity. I don't see one guy that's standing on their 10 toes, but let's continue and see if we can find one, y'all.
The world. It's something we learned from like TV and shit, and it's maybe something we learned from our dads too. Tell me about your dad.
I'm a first generation kid. My dad is from Guyana. Grew up in a very humble beginnings, poor family. First time I remember my dad telling me he loved me was when I was 17. And he was like saying like he's proud of me because I was about to graduate high school and things like that, you know. I'm appreciative of all the other things, you know, being present as a provider. But in terms of like, you know, the conversation piece and like, oh, I want to talk to my dad about, you know, sex or something. Or I want to talk to my dad about, oh, this person broke up with me and I'm feeling pretty sad about it. I didn't have those conversations.
So like emotional language as part of like how you talk to your dad.
Yeah.
And my definition of manhood came solely from my relationship with God. It didn't come from my father. It didn't come from the good influences around me.
Is God a man?
Yeah, and God is a man. And God is a father, and he's a good father. He's a perfect father. And so I think there is a clear definition of manhood where I guess that's where I diverge from.
Jesus Christ. Lord. Oh, send the fire and brimstone and just take us all off this earth right now. It's no fun no more.
From everyone else in the room. I believe manhood is clearly defined by God. It is the perfect example of what a man should be.
Chris, I see you nodding your head.
I grew up in a divorced home. When you do grow up in a broken home and you don't have a father in the home, you recognize how important sort of both males and females are in raising a child and being in the home.
So basically all he told me is that he was raised by his mother, and that's one of the reasons why he has so many feminine characteristics and traits, because everything that you do is a learned behavior. He's feminine because he was raised by his mother. Let this be a lesson to you. He said it out of his own mouth. He grew up in a broken home. Father wasn't a participant in his life. And that's why he's sitting there with his chest like this and his hands covering up his stuff. And he's trying to prevent himself from showing under his dress. He was raised in a home where there was no father and no masculinity in it. And so this is what you get as a result of it.
Balance between, you know, masculine energy and feminine energy.
Absolutely.
And I feel like there's both within everybody. And so there's a balance that with masculine energy in itself that I think a lot of people.
Boy, if you don't stop, you hear that? If you don't stop and keep your S's to a minimum, keep your T's to a minimum, and stop Jesus.
People have trouble trying to like reconcile within themselves. Like, yes, being a man, you work hard, you take care of your people, but you gotta be able to have that emotional side too, which is where the feminine energy comes in.
Y'all just like triggered something in my head when y'all was speaking about having both in the home. To me, I didn't really have that.
Did this dude just say y'all just triggered something in me? He said you just triggered me? Listen, fellas. I don't want any man using the word trigger. Some of y'all just didn't know. Some of you didn't know any better. Don't use the word trigger. Nothing should trigger you, okay? That is a female word. Don't use the word trigger, all right?
And it made me feel away, but I think that I always wanted one. And so I wound up at a certain age going outside and trying to find what masculinity was outside. And so I went on the corner, and there were 20 of us on the corner, and none of us had dads. We were all messed up, and so we all taught each other the wrong way to love, to be loved. And then I think in society there's way more people like that.
And a lot of kids who don't have fathers in the home, look for that father in the world or in a different way.
Well, first I think that like attributing like proper family values to like a heterosexual couple with children is like just not effective. Like I think that it's obviously like a heteronormative take to be like man and woman and then a child, and that's how you create like a good family, whether it's like a single mother, single father, or like a queer couple. Like I don't think that it's necessary to like attribute men and women to like certain roles in the household. I think that it's only due to nurture those gender norms that we follow.
He's saying that it doesn't matter if you have a male in the household or whether you got two males or two females in the household or you're queer or so on and so forth. That has no bearing on whether or not a child is going to show up to be more masculine, exhibit more masculine traits, operate in a traditional gender role, so on and so forth. And he can never be any more wrong, and that it cannot be exhibited any more clearly than by the young men that sat there and said that I was raised by my mother and I didn't even know what a man looked like.
Female matters. God gives you one of those identities, you take on that role. And now you're responsible for not or for fulfilling that role. There's a masculine crisis because men are not taking responsibilities for the God-given roles that they have in society. And so
Finally, somebody shows up and stands 10 toes down that aligns with the word of God that is saying, yo, we not rolling like that. We not rocking like that. It does. And when you get out of your purpose as defined by how God was supposed to have things set up in the first place, this is why we have so much confusion in society as a result of it.
But when you take away the need to say, God made you this or God made you this, now you don't have to take responsibility for not fulfilling what you were called to do.
When you do that, you also take away other things that somebody else may do. If I have a woman or a partner that wants to take on certain roles and I say, hey, those are my roles that God gave me in society, now I'm suppressing that person. Like at the end of the day, we're all human beings. Yeah, you define who you are and how you behave under God. That's what God gave us, free will.
But also, like, I think that the religious beliefs should not be used to like dictate how other people identify, how other people live their lives.
Humans need predictability, and when we put each other in these boxes, it gives us the opportunity to make decisions quickly. And I think that's what we're fighting is as a civilization at the moment, is the desire to put 7.5 billion people in specific boxes so that we can have some sort of predictability or stability in our lives. I was an emotionally abusive young man in my 20s because I had an idea of what my wife should do, and it caused a lot of stress.
Why were you the way you were?
I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of pent-up rage. I had some combat stress that I had to deal with also that I wasn't dealing with because men don't show emotion.
There is a social construct that benefits men. And so the responsibility that I've learned as I've gotten older is learning how to not enforce my power, learning over women, over people.
You're saying that role gives men more, like an advantage and privilege. I'm saying that it is more self-sacrificing. I do not have free time. I do not have hobbies. I do not wake up during the day and do what I want to do, ever. I'm thinking about my wife, my kids, my business.
But that's your decision, and that's not like a mandatory thing of your masculinity.
Well, if you believe that God is true, and you believe that he is God, then you do have that responsibility.
What privilege are you referring to? Like, what privileges do men have?
We've constructed this entire society to benefit us.
Break it down, like what privileges exactly?
Like we talk about the wage gap, or if you look at Roe versus Wade, men controlling women's body.
Oh my God. The most feminine dude on the panel as far as his thought process is this guy over here with this blue jean jacket that led the conversation by saying that I'm from the hood and I had to grow up tough and rough and with my Afro puffs, is the dude that is the biggest simp on the panel, talking about the wage gap, talking about patriarchy, talking about how men are controlling the world, when in reality, everything that you see happening in society today actually goes against what men actually went up and built for themselves. We built this whole world so that everywhere else can be civilized, so that people can have the options to be able to chill and relax, and we've invented technology and done all of this awesome stuff. And now what you see happening right now is in society is being used against us, and there's an assault on masculinity. There is no relief for us in family court. There is no safe space for us for a man going homeless or whatever, so on and so forth. But guess what? Guess what? There is safety nets for every single group. I'm going to go one step further. Listen, the most marginalized person in society today, y'all not going to like this. Y'all not going to like this. The person that is under assault the most is a straight white man. If you are a straight white man, you don't have a chance in hell if you don't make sure that you meet every single obligation and expectation from society. If you are a straight white man, and don't be conservative on top of it, you are hit. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. At least the chicks want the BBC. At least they want the BBC. We can lean on our blackness as an excuse a lot of times and say, well, the man is holding us down and we got systematic oppression and racism. Shout out to Dr. Martin Luther King on this January 16, 2003. If you are a straight white man, you are done. You are canceled. Don't breathe. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. And do not get caught in a room by yourself, whether it's a boardroom or a bedroom, with a chick that is willing to meet to you. It's over. The very accusation means you lose your job, you lose your income, you lose the possibility of even being able to redeem yourself, and you automatically proven guilty until innocent. Shout out to Johnny Depp. Shout out to the Duke lacrosse team. Shout out to the Duke lacrosse team. What people don't even realize is that black people think that white people are the enemy, and they can never be more wrong. More white people are on welfare than black people. More white men are broke than black men. If you look at the census as far as determining wage, white people are not that far ahead of you. They aren't. White people are not that far ahead of black people. We like this and this. It's like this. I'm serious. It's like this. At this point, we need... Listen, bro. Listen, man. I'm in these boardrooms. I'm in these. Men at large are absolutely fearful. Any man that has any kind of power whatsoever are absolutely fearful of walking into a room or stepping into an elevator with a woman by themselves. They are fierce. They will catch the next thing going up and act like they had to go back to their office and grab their briefcase. I'm trying to tell you. See, listen, y'all so busy trying to compare yourselves to white people. And what I'm trying to tell you is that we all going down on a sinking ship because it's not even that type of war. You catching it from every angle. Listen, don't be poor and white at the same time. It's over for you, bro. Because you can't even get no pussy. Don't be poor and listen, go in Philadelphia. Go walk down Kensington Avenue. Tell me what the majority of the crackheads look like on Kensington Ave. I guarantee you there is a large ratio of white versus any other demographic white men on Kensington Ave, slumped over, sleeping, standing up, and can't even grasp their breath with no teeth. Meth heads. Go walk down Kensington Avenue and tell me what you see. Go Google any video. You ain't even got to go. Go Google any video on YouTube of Kensington Ave in Philadelphia and tell me what you see. The overwhelming majority of meth heads are white. The overwhelming majority of dope fiends are white. The overwhelming majority of crackheads are white. I'm telling you, this is a fact. The opioid crisis, why do you think that it was so much that was done to the pharmaceutical companies? Because they was attacking white men. It was white men. Listen, the opioid crisis, it affected everybody, but them white people, toe down, toe up from the flow up. And they wasn't even making no money from it. And that's how you know it was bad, because they was just affected by it. The opioid crisis, methamphetamines and fentanyl did what crack did to the black community to white people. Fentanyl, the opioid crisis, heroin, meth, it did to white people what the crack epidemic did to black people in the 80s and the 70s. They do not have a leg up on you at all. Not even a little bit. They don't have a leg up on you when it comes to women. They don't have a leg up on you when it comes to masculinity. They don't have a leg up on you when it comes to opportunity. I'm telling you, the minute that you unlock your mind and you start to understand what you're capable of and what your power is, because the problem with a lot of people in general, especially black people, is that they've already came in with a defeated mentality based off of something that their parents already embedded in them. Society, your friends, your parents, everybody told you that you was behind the 8 ball. The reality is that you are way ahead as long as you embrace your greatness. You are 10 steps further. You're more talented. You have greater purpose. You are 10 steps ahead in every single category. Women don't even want them. Their women don't even want them. The minute that you unlock your greatness, you taking over the world. I'm gonna read the super chats in a minute. Let's continue.
Even if there might be those privileges, there's also more men who commit suicide, more men incarcerated. I think when you talk about like incarceration rates and things like that, like things that men are a victim of, I think that it's important to like recognize, like, I don't think that men are oppressed solely on the grounds that they're men. I think that men like experience oppression based on like the intersections of their identities, which is, you know, why we see like different like lower class jobs being worked by men, or like higher suicide rates, or like incarceration rates going up, because like men, like black men, brown men, indigenous men, queer men, trans men, etc. Those people like face oppression, they experience oppression, but it's not solely due to their identity as a man.
I think dating and sex is probably a very interesting place to think about this, because it's a changing field as far as like what people expect of each other.
I date in New York City a lot, and dating wise, there's a lot that's like asked of a man. Like first dates are like nightmares. Dude, it's like.
Damn, I told you, I called it in the very beginning of the show. I said, listen, all of them is talking about being queer and masculinity and the Bible and you know, incarceration rates. Asian men is only concerned about the lack of box that they getting, yo. He like, listen, man, I see what y'all talking about, but I'm having trouble in the dating market. I am a simp to my core. I told you that this man was a simp to his core the minute that I spotted him, and I spotted that brown thing that he got on, that shag that he rocking with. I knew it the minute that I seen him. The moment that he was going to start speaking, that it was going to have something to do with his inability to get boxed.
Like, I'm like, what do you want? They got like a checkbox, like, are you gonna pick me up? Are you gonna walk on the outside of the sidewalk? Are you gonna open the door? Are you gonna pull out the seat? Are you gonna pay for the meal? Are you gonna be interesting during the dinner? Are you gonna be funny during the dinner? And then when you walk home, are you gonna drop me off? Are you gonna watch me walk inside? And then are you gonna text me after? And it's like trying to defuse a bomb. Like if you think you're like red wire, blue wire, and you're like one little thing and you're just done. And it's like, I'm to the point where I'm like, I'm so tired of like paying $150 for a first date. And then you just ghost me. And then the next week I'm like hurting for cash. I'm like, I could have really used that $150. Like,
this dude said, I'm tired of paying $150 for a date, and then next week I'm hurting for cash. Oh my God. I'm about to call Angry Man to get some masculinity coaching on these panels. Jesus. Where is Angry Man when you need him? Angry Man, can we get some masculinity coaching on these panels, please? Good grief, bro. You sitting out here dating broke. You shouldn't even be dating in the first place. Secondly, you shouldn't care nothing about what a woman think in the first place. Third, why are you sitting here trying to defuse a bomb? Jesus Christ. This is such a headache panel. This panel is broken. This panel is broken. Let me read these super chats. I got to read the super chats. I'm confused. I'm very, very confused right now. Clay said, dude is emotional because his dad didn't say I love you. Y'all some savages. My dog AL says they describe manhood like they read verbatim out of the feminist manual. If this is how men are thinking now, then they are lost. I'm not gonna lose, and I can't surround myself with dudes like this. None of us can, bro. None of us can afford to surround ourselves with men like this, bro. This is sad. This is one of the saddest things I've ever seen. My dog Dalen, shout out to Dylan says Anton and I are different sides of the aisle, and he has never used his religion as a weapon against me. Facts. This is no longer happening in America. This is why I say this is not a fight for equality or the LGBTQ plus, but for supremacy. Everybody is distracted because nobody is truly understanding what's going on out in these streets. Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate you, big dog. But it is an assault on a lot of things, but it's all designed to keep you distracted. Mr. Small says, facts, I'm from Philly. I appreciate you. Looking forward to our call next week. Shout out to Mr. Smalls in the building. If y'all need to get in touch with me, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com, and I'm going to make sure that y'all get booked for a call or a Zoom session. My dog Aaron says they got plugged into the Matrix. They sitting in some chair right now with that gas pump plugged into their head. These dudes are mentally folded. Marriage, Politics, and Sports says this is no such thing. There is no such thing as toxic masculinity. Posted a piece on that. Toxicity is a character flaw, not a natural one. Facts. Man, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. He said he an OnlyFans spokesman, Aaron. Oh my God. We are so broken as a society. I was going to talk about another simp today, too. I was going to talk about a whole nother simp today. You know who I was going to talk about? The dude from Snowball that's wifed up Lori Harvey. We're going to say that for tomorrow, y'all. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and turn on your notifications. Also, make sure you tap into the Alpha Juice Company. We got discount codes for all of your cleanses to ensure that you are going in the direction that you're supposed to be going in from a health perspective. This is the only thing I'm rocking with this and water. This and water is Alpha Juice Company is the only thing I'm rocking with this and water. Discount code is in the description. Also, shout out to T. Chanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. That link is in the description for y'all to be able to tap in. And last but not least, I am dropping a Patreon exclusive tonight. Me, just Pearly Things. It is crazy, absolutely awesome. Make sure you tap into that live stream, and it's going to be absolutely lit. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to show up and rock with me. Shout out to everybody that showed up back After a week off from live streaming, we back, ladies and gentlemen. The Millionaire Morning Show is in the building. So on top of my game, I'm coming in through the ceiling. I need y'all to do me one more thing before we get up out of here, though. Make sure you tell this to your family and friends and share the stream. We don't want to be rich by ourselves. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I think that y'all are the greatest bag chasers and people that I've ever rocked with in my entire life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to continue to hold you down. 2023, y'all. No bag fumbling. If you did not get started off with the year right, make sure that you realign, repurpose, align yourself with the bag chasers, and let's go get that bags. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm out of you. Peace.